How does the selection process work? Part 1. One of the most important goals of the selection process is to hire the right people. We do this by assessing applicants' qualifications and comparing them to the job requirements. We assume better matches mean more potential. When managers hire the right people, they invest in their human capital, and those they select gain specialized knowledge, skills, and experiences that should help them reach their goals. Job applicants usually move through a series of stages, each with its own goals and selection tests. A test is an objective and standardized procedure for measuring a psychological construct using a sample of behavior. Here are some of the most popular selection tests. The percentages next to each test represent its predictive validity. The most predictive test is a work sample, which identifies high-performing applicants about half, 54% of the time. A test battery is a collection of tests. In most cases, it's best to use more than one test because each one evaluates a different job-related qualification. Note that no test can gather all the information we need to make the best hiring decisions. All of them have one thing in common. They measure individual differences, which are simply the dissimilarities between two or more people. This chart highlights some of the dissimilarities we could measure. The selection tests we choose depend on the individual differences that are relevant to the job. If job performance depends on cognitive and physical abilities, for example, then it may not be necessary for us to measure personality. Work analysis at the individual level and competency modeling at the organizational level can help us identify these competencies. The selection process begins when recruits apply to a job. Initial selection devices are used to make preliminary rough cuts and decide whether the applicants meet the basic qualifications. Examples of these screening tools include application forms and background checks. You'll learn more about both of these tests in the rest of this video. Application forms are the most popular screening device. These forms gather information about work experience, education, training, and other job-related qualifications. Today, most job applications can be found and submitted online. Some employers encourage photos and video resumes, but applicants should beware of potential discrimination based on physical characteristics. Some companies use software to quickly evaluate applications based on keyword matches. Application forms are not known for being predictive of job performance and should only be used as a screening tool. Also, don't ask about race, gender, nationality, marital status, dependents, and family obligations. Background checks are also popular screening tests. They can be used to assess personal references, letters of recommendation, social media profiles and posts, credit histories, and criminal records. Unfortunately, these ratings are not always accurate or representative of applicants' job performance. Social media ratings, for example, are notoriously biased toward physically attractive applicants. For this reason, there are limitations to how background checks can be used. Once applicants pass the initial screening, they move on to the substantive selection stage, which we will cover next in Part 2 of this lecture.